that is one of the important things. Is sort of in my thing of life. That I didn't want any intrusion. I wanted to find a
Pure
a civilization of what it was like.
culture.
Culture, yes. Which I liked, the people whom I liked, and yet untouched by any contact with the West.
Right. I wanted to ask you about the traditions that you drew on when writing your own, travel books. Who were your, as people will look to you as a travel writer, who did you look to in your time? Who were the people who influenced your writing?
Well, a lot of these African, you see, I started reading Salous. There's a book just coming out on Salous. I forget who's writing it.
Oh, yes.
And I've been reading the proofs.
Is it Fredrick Salous?
Yes, the hunter.
There was a brother called Edward.
Yes, that's right.
I know somebody who's writing on Edward.
No, this is writing on Fredrick.
Oh, right.
Salous, and it's a good book. It gets a lot because it's not only Millet's sort of one. Millet was his friend, and it's written like this. This is more perspective.
Right.
And it's thoroughly interesting. It also deals with quite a lot of stuff that's in those. He was killed.
Yes.
And a friend of mine was Sergeant.
Yes, he was.
And they were reading one and then the other. So it's
right.
interesting.
Right.
But when I was I don't think I was more than 12, and I found one of the few books which came back from Addis Ababa of my father's books. They all disappeared on the way back. But one was Nature Notes and Reminiscences by Salous. And it's funny reading for a small boy, but then again, you see, when I was 7 years old, and it was that epidemic of flu,
right.
My mother was reading Sporting Trip Through Abyssinia by Pearl Cotton, who went off that. And this fascinated me. I preferred, I liked the sort of Kipling, which I used to have read to me, but this was perhaps the one that fascinated me most.
Right.
And it's stuff that, it's there. It's a sort of hunting description of his travels looking for this animal.
Right.
And I can remember exactly where she got to. And she suddenly looked up and said, "You don't look well," and put me to bed. And I got this flu. And he just got as far as gone at the time. Funny, you see, that was at 7.
Right.
So that my interest in had always been African adventure and hunting.
Right.
The Ivory Raiders, which is about the Turkana. And there, Wilfred Thesiger, June 3, 1924, that's my 14th birthday, with the sort of book that gets most boys don't get those sort of books, or read them at that age.
No.
And all my Gordon Cumming, Baldwin, Salous, Newman, went to reel them all.
Right.
Well then, the other one was when I'd read Baker in the Sudan.
Right.
And then I think
which?
Samuel Baker.
Samuel Baker.
Yeah. And then with his slave wife, they bought her in Lady Baker in the market in Istanbul, Constantinople.
Right.
And great woman. And then, then I suddenly found Winston Churchill's River War.
Oh, yeah.
That, you see, then from then on. And I think the book has probably had more effect on me than any book has ever had.
Churchill's?
No, earlier than that. Prestor John by John Buchan.
Oh, really?
And that was my first term at my private school, preparatory school.
Right.
And I was 9? And my brother had it. He hardly ever read a book anyway.
Right.
And he said, "You must read this marvellous book." And then I read Prestor John. And from that day onwards, my heroes have always been sort of black.
The natives,
Yes, it was and this sort of the Zulus.
Right.
As I say, even when they wiped out my grandfather's half his army at the San Rwanda, I never grudged them this sort of overwhelming victory. I thought they jolly well deserved it.
Right.
And then the sort of tragedy of the Battle of Omdurman, the Ethiopians.
Yeah.
And,
You were on their side, right?
yes, and I mean a sort of sense of tragedy.
Yeah.
And then when you came to Abdul Karim and the fighting against the French or Sultan Pasha with the Druze, whom I knew, I met him there. But it's always given me a sort of slant that way.
Towards the non-white.
Towards the non-white, which may to a certain extent have been also influenced by the sort of rejection at my private school.
Right.
By my contemporaries who thought, I mean, here was the boy who'd been on camel journeys and said he'd sort of seen the Turkish lines being shelled and been on a tiger shoot and everything.
Right.
And,
they didn't really...
no, they thought I was a most boring little liar.
Right.
I'm just sort of maybe aggressive and I expected was unpleasant, but I thought they were.
Mm. Did you, before you wrote... sorry.
No, I was going to say that a book that did have a great influence on me was The Seven Pillars by Lawrence.
I was going to say about Lawrence, yeah.
And I don't go along one little bit with a sort of denigration of Lawrence.
No.
Because it doesn't make sense to me. I mean, what's his name? Christopher Sykes had written, somebody, I forget which of these books on Lawrence it was, but it just come out. And Christopher Sykes sort of wrote a review of it.
Right.
And said that as far as he was concerned, he was convinced that Lawrence was just a liar and so on.
Right.
And so this provoked me into writing a letter to I think it was the Observer, I think.
Did they publish it?
Yes. They cut it down, which was a pity, but it was better before they had cut it down.
No. I'd like to... Could I see it?
I don't know where to...
Oh, right.
And there I said that after all, this didn't make any sort of sense to me.
No.
When Allenby, Wavell, all these people, Dorney, Young, so on, who served under him, and they were all prepared to write as they did by Lawrence by his friends.
Right.
Well, I mean, in order to make Lawrence a sort of a liar and a phony and all the rest of it, he's got to accept the fact that all the others are extraordinarily unperceptive.
Right.
And fools into the bargain.
Did you see the exhibition of Lawrence?
No, because I wasn't young.
In Kenya.
I'd like to have seen it.
I saw it. It's very good. But also, I was going to say, there's a new biography. There's a biography.
Yes, there is, which I did read through the proofs of it.
Did you?
Yes.
The official biography.
Yes.
You've got a copy of the proofs of it.
They sent it to me here. Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I thought. What I'd say about that was that it's dully written. It's written by Wilson.
Right.
And who wrote the introduction to Minorities.
Right, and the Mint.
And then it's dully written, but I don't know if that really matters because I don't ever see it as being a bestseller.
No.
But I think it is a book to which you could always refer.
Because it's so scrupulously researched.
Yes, scrupulously exact.
Yeah.
And therefore you go back to it and you'd say, yes, well, Wilson found out this or that.
Right.
And for that reason, it's there available.
Right. I was going to say, had you read Philby as well? Was he?
Yes.
Yeah.
Philby I find an extraordinarily dull writer.
Right.
I mean, I don't think either Philby or Bertram Thomas, unfortunately, could write well. Bertram Thomas does a sort of parody of Arabia Deserta.
Right.
And Philby is, but I would never question any of Philby's observations, if they were geographical,
right,
or if they were about the customs of the people, or the fact he's seen a magpie here or a hoopoo somewhere else. I mean, that is, you accept absolutely.
Yeah.
But he, in his last, I forget which book it was, you see, he had this dislike of the sort of British intrusion on them, and then he went all American.
Right.
And then he twisted, I mean, he wasn't about twisting facts and history,
Right.
just to suit his arguments that Foray may belong to Ibn Saud. He's prepared to go to any lengths to extend his territory.
Right.
And that, no, I mean, they're interesting to have read, but I wouldn't regard them as of any consequence as writers or travel books.
No, no. But Lawrence certainly.
Oh yes, his indeed.
A great writer.
It's always felt to me that it was rather impertinent writing about the Bedou after he'd written about it.
Right, right. Mm. Yes, it was a wonderful book. Have you read Doughty?
Yes, and there's a new Doughty. No, there's a man called Phillips who's done
Abridgment
of Arabia Deserta into one book like that. The only previous one was Garnet.
Right.
And he makes the point, which I think is true, that you lose the wood for the trees with Garnet, because the sort of his journeys and things tend to get obscured by so much detail. He's done it another way, and it's quite obvious where Garnet is and where he's travelling. I thought it was a very, very good abridgment.
Yeah.
And in it, he's included a lot of photographs, which are not quite, they're obviously not taken by Doughty, but Gertrude Bell, when she was there, she took a lot, and he's included. And if there was a page, you'd have a photograph there showing them making coffee, or a group of Bedou, or loading a camel, and all these, and they're done in a very nice sepia. Mm. And I thought all that was highly successful.
Has it just come out?
No, it's coming out.
Oh, really?
And he asked me to write a few words about it as a sort of
preface or
I don't know.
Review?
I don't like the word blurb.
Right, I'm afraid that's the word they use, isn't it?
This is what I felt about it.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. I think it's good. Yeah. I haven't read it. I must read it.
No, it isn't out yet.
No, but I must read the unabridged.
Yes. Well,
is that hard going or?
Well, it is. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's written in this curious archaic English, and it's not everybody can sort of take it. I mean, if you can read and pause and understand the first sentence, there's some hope of reading the book.
Right.
When he's in the street called straight.
Do you see the relationship between Doughty and Lawrence?
Oh, yes. I mean, I think Lawrence sort of. Well, he said it in the introduction, I think, how much he owed in a sense to Doughty. And I think Doughty's one on, as I said there, I mean, he got it all.
Yeah.
He's the only one who had nothing to offer them.
Right.
Otherwise people have had money, or they've had position, or they've had something.
Right. What do you think of, do you read modern travel books?
Yes, a certain amount, yes, I do.
What about people like, I mean, other people have written of you, people like Geoffrey Moorhouse. Do you know?
I do.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think of his journey across the?
Well, I met Geoffrey Moorhouse. He wrote to me and said that as somebody who knew a lot about camels and things, he wanted to do this journey and so on. And I said, well, come and meet me. And we went off to have lunch in the Travellers' Club. And then I started off by saying, I think if we're going to do this journey across the Sahara, and I think it would be an interesting one to do. I mean, it's got an obvious element of a stunt about it,
yeah.
because, I mean, you can go by car, and by the grace of God, when I did my journeys, there was no possibility of going any other way, and that was a very important thing. I mean, somebody had already been across the empty quarter in the car.
You couldn't have done it?
Well, no, I don't think I would have done it. I would if I'd been in touch with the Bedouin and everything.
Right.
But it would have taken, spoiled it.
Yeah.
But Moorhouse, and I said to him, well, I think the essential thing for you to do is to get hold of somebody, like I had Omar in my Danakil journey, who will remain with you right through. And who comes, I mean, he'll be a different tribe and everything. You pick up somebody in Mauritania, and you want to take him through till you get to the Hadendor on the coast.
Right.
But he'll be somebody who knows you, and you're working along like that, and you understand your mind and what's wanted.
Right.
And then he can arrange for when you want to get new camels or when you get new guides and so on. And he said, well, you just don't understand what I want to do, because I want to do it all by myself on a camel, without anybody with me. And I said, well, I mean, this is nonsense.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are a lot of reasons. One is that you're going to travel through country where today is fairly hostile. You're visiting target to the first person who comes along and sees you.
Yeah.
Because a European on a camel, well, I want the camel, put a bullet in the European, and that's that.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have travelled through, as I make plain in my book, without having what they call the Rabia from each tribe.
Right.
He needed one. He even might be somebody from the Afar, but he had the traditional right to take us through the country of the draw.
Right.
And I said, without that, you won't get anywhere. And I said, on top of that, how are you going to find your wells?
Right.
He said, well, I shall have all the best maps. I said, that's all very well, but I mean, you arrive in an area the size of Chelsea, which says that there's a well there, and it's been blown over by sand and filled in. And how on earth are you going to find it?
Right.
I mean, if you were a Bedou, you would be able to track where the camels in the past have been, you could get it. I mean, in a sense, we had that trouble when I was going across the last big journey across, looking for Dippy Well.
Right.
And I got a lot of credit for finding it, but then that, after all there was the two peaks which gave me a bearing.
Right.
And then I said, if you were riding camel by yourself and you're dead tired, you've done 8 hours, and you get off and you hobble your camel and you go to sleep, you have no idea how far a hobble camel will go.
Right.
And it's sand country, you wouldn't have a clue where it is, you'll never find it again.
Right.
As if you're talking, this is absolute nonsense. You've got to have local people, which of course in the end he did, but in his book he's rather sort of says he didn't get much help from me.
He does.
Whereas, in point of fact, I probably saved him for sort of. But I didn't like him.
No.
And I felt that he was, and when they had this, I don't know whether you went to it, but there was a lecture on the last series of talks at the RGS on the deserts. And the talk, one before, we had 3 before the coffee break and then 3 after, each to last 20 minutes. And one of them was Moorhouse. And it was anyone who'd gone with camels except myself and he talked about it, but he was sort of saying, well, of course, people get romantic about desert dwellers and things. I didn't feel this myself. I thought they were this, that, and something else. And I was just rather surprised in view of all this that somebody didn't put a knife into him and leave him in the sand drift.
He's not very simple. Have you read his book, The Fearful Boy?
Yes, I didn't care for it, but then
it was
start with a prejudice against somebody.
Right. I mean, he was very critical of the people.
Yes.
And he had very limited Arabic, I think.
Yes. And I mean, a lot of them aren't even talking. That was the whole trouble. A lot of them wouldn't even have been talking Arabic. They'd have been talking Berber and stuff away out from there.
Right.
And,
right. Have you travelled in that?
No. No, I've been as far as up to the Tibu.
You went to...
Tibesti.
That's right.
And that was my sort of interest. That was my apprenticeship for the journeys that lay ahead when I went to Arabia.
Right. Mm. Yes, interesting.
No, I didn't. I don't want to be. I mean, it's just that. As a person, I didn't like him.
No.
And I thought that his original thing was nonsense.
Right.
Then he went off and met Monod, the French.
Did you know Monod?
No, I've not met him, but I've got most of his. I've got a lot of his notes and diaries.
Have you? Is it originals?
It's all the sort of things. And yes, he was a man who had sort of great. He was one of these great. The French were very good on that. These camel.
You speak French, don't you?
Yeah.
But you can't remember your Arabic, apparently.
No, and I've got my Arabic to remember my French.
Mm. What about Newby? I mean, he's the travel writer that everyone seems to admire.
Yes, well, I think he writes again, I think Newby's best book was the one he wrote before which was The Last Grain Race.
Ah, right.
And that, when he came back on that boat, and that was, I thought, a splendid book. And, I mean, I can no more conceive myself doing what he did there, or had to do there, than jumping out of this window. I mean, you had to climb up a mast and then stand on the platform on the top.
Right.
And no, that was, I thought, a very good book.
Yeah.
I think that if anything, he's overwriting now. I think that he's got to a sort of stage when he's got to sort of write all the time.
There was that one on Ireland, wasn't there? Round Ireland in bottom gear or something like that.
And I liked his, I thought he's won the Hindu Kush one was a good one. I've often been asked if I did say that, and I did.
You did?
Yes. I mean, these two people tottered off the top of the mountain, looking absolutely finished. I mean, their faces were all blistered and burnt, and they were desiccated. And Newby, I mean, as a sort of practice traveller, you would have thought he'd have got some decent boots instead of picking up a pair in Italy, which were too tight for him. But anyway, he was suffering from this. His feet were raw. One day they tottered down, and then I persuaded him to eat what you described as my pterodactyl, my chicken. And then they produced these lilos and blew them up. And then I did say, good God, you must be a couple of pansies. Which of course was God's gift to him. That was a splendid remark to end his book on.
Yes, yeah. It's quite a good note. I thought that was quite amusing.
Oh yes, no, I think he is. And I think the Newby is sort of humorous and amusing. But, I mean, again, I don't think that in the sort of sense of what I call journeys, so few of these people have ever done them, because they've never had, it isn't that he wouldn't have, but the opportunity is no longer there. I mean, walking down the Ganges or these things.
You call them stunts?
No, I don't call them stunts, I call them personal experiences.
Right.
But, no, I think that if you go off and, I mean, if you're going to sort of, well, I don't quite know how I get the difference. But,
did you ever know people like Van der Post?
Yes, I knew Van der Post.
Right.
Because when I was he was in the Abyssinian campaign, I never met him there. At the end of my time with the Druses, and I had no leave, and I wanted some leave, and I went into, I must have been Damascus, I was with SOE at the time, and said, look, I want a fortnight's leave, and they said, oh, I suppose you want to go off down to the fresh pots of Cairo. I said, God forbid, what I want to do is travel around northern Syria. He said, past Syria I don't get a car and travel around that. They said, do you know Van der Post? And I said, no. And they said, he knows you by name, and he's in the next office, and he's going to do that very thing tomorrow with a staff car. I'm sure he'd take you with him. He's going for a fortnight to look at Latakia and Aleppo and everything. And so I went with him, and I thought that he was a delightful companion. That he was, I mean, we couldn't have got on better.
Yeah. Have you
Yet
read?
I have a curious reservation about his books.
Do you? That's interesting. Which ones? The African books?
The African books, which are the ones I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the venture to the interior is a sort of pretentious one. I mean, you might as well say the venture to the interior and go down to Norfolk or somewhere.
Right.
Quote that.
Right.
I mean, a lot of this you mustn't quote.
Oh, of course not. No.
But what I'm meaning is that I think that normally you can tell a person exactly, you pick up anything he's written, even if it's a novel.
Right.
Certainly if it's autobiographical.
Right.
You've got the character. You can't hide your character in anything you write like that.
No. You come through in everybody's books, I think.
Hmm?
The people that have written of you, you come through very accurately.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think that, and in a funny sort of way, I think he's much better than the character which he makes of himself in his books, when he's rather in the Lost World of the Kalahari. He spends a third of his book fighting, sort of squabbling with his man who went with him, the photographer.
Cameraman.
Yes. Well, I think if you're not getting on too well with somebody, the best thing is to dismiss him and sort of. Gavin Maxwell was with me for 6 months, and I got him an altar.
Right.
Rather than to sort of
long
quotation, sort of squabbles.
Yeah.
We didn't, in fact, have squabbles, but I mean one.
You with Maxwell?
Yes.
No.
I mean we did. We got, and I mean if Gavin was to come in this evening into this flat, I'd be delighted to. I mean he's dead, as you know.
Yes,
But I mean he could have sort of re-emerge and come
Right.
back. I'd be delighted to see him because he was good company.
Right.
He was very intelligent.
Right.
He was a poet,
Right.
and he'd read a lot, and he was very good on natural history.
Right.
It was always interesting.
Yes. It's interesting that you say that about Van der Post's work. I like his writing. I must say, I do like it. But I'm just reading one on Russia.
I got that, and I haven't read it.
It's not particularly interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Do you want to have a break?
No, I don't.
You're
No, I
okay?
haven't.
What else was I going to say? What about Freya Stark? I mean, she's the counterpart. She's the female counterpart to you, I would say, isn't she? In the sense that you're often described as the last great traveller, and she must be the last great woman traveller.
But she's not a great traveller, is she?
Well,
And
she's
you've
not.
got to, no, but I mean, if you're going to, you see, she modelled herself the whole time on Gertrude Bell.
Wow, did she?
And Gertrude, yes, quite obviously. And Gertrude Bell was a very great traveller.
Right.
I mean, it's extraordinary how Gertrude Bell. And then in that age, which you know, that she'd been made they made her. I don't know what her position was, but virtually the consul down there in the war. And she had all this power and authority and everything, and knowledge of the tribes.
Bell.
Gertrude
Yes.
Bell. But when it comes down to Freya Stark, I think I'm not talking about her as a writer.
No.
But as a traveller, you see,
Right.
she did her journey to the. Is that thing clicking?
No, it's me. I'm fiddling with your worry bee.
If she did this journey to the first one she did, in which she sort of got herself well known and spoken about,
Right.
which was the Valley of the Assassins.
Right.
And but I mean, it was an interesting thing to do, but it wasn't what you call a hard and ending journey.
No.
With the Shah in sort of control of his country like that,
Right.
I mean, it wasn't difficult to do it.
No.
Well, then she wanted to do that journey in southern Arabia, and she was going off to look for Shabwa, and then having very sensibly, I mean, she could have crossed the Joe with cars and everything, but very sensibly, and this is not a stunt. I mean, she decided, in order to get the feel of it all, she must do it with, I think camels or donkeys or whatever they did use.
Right.
And so she went like that and got to know the people, got the photographs of them, arrived in the Hadramaut. And then when she was in the Hadramaut, went down with this very bad fever and had to be flown out to the Hadramaut.
Right.
So, I mean, she never accomplished any journey there at all.
No.
And those are the only 2 journeys she's ever done.
Right.
I mean, I'm not talking about coming down at the age of 90 or something, coming down on a raft.
Right.
Euphrates, those are, you know, curious sort of way. I do think of stunts.
Right.
But I mean,
yeah.
serious journeys. I mean, you can't put her in the same category as Philby or Bertram Thomas.
No,
like that.
no. But she's a great travel writer.
He writes very nicely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find a lot of our writing difficult because it almost sort of, I don't quite know what it is. I thought when I read the one descriptions of the harbour at McCullough, that I'd underrated, and she did write beautifully, but somehow it's the wrong word, too beautiful, but
yeah, it was. Oh, you thought that it was perhaps overwritten, or
slightly sort of, yes.
Yeah, too poetic, perhaps.
Yes. I think she's a very gallant old woman, and
Yes.
I don't think I only really met her once, and we had lunch together. But what I did think was utter folly. I can't remember which book this is. Gertrude Bell in Arab dress. Did you see that? Well, you would have forgotten it if you did.
No,
There's Gertrude Bell dressed up as a boy with a dagger and a cartridge belt and holding a rifle. Gertrude Bell, not Gertrude Bell.
Oh, Freya Stark. Oh, I have seen
yes,
it.
Freya Stark in Arab dress.
I have seen it.
And then Freya Stark in Kurdish dress.
Right.
And again,
Bandolier.
well, this seems to me, ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm not keen on wearing.
Western.
No, not Western. But I mean, I don't sort of fancy dressing up unless it's a necessity for it.
Right. You did in Arabia, but it was
I did in Arabia. They wouldn't have gone with me a yard if I hadn't. And
No.
I mean, you obviously, there, if I'd come into and that's what's extraordinary thing about Gertrude Bell, she pulled it off. That if you went into one of their camps dressed as the European, the hostility against you would have been immense.
High, yeah.
And I mean, you could merge into your surroundings. So, I mean, they could pretend I was a Baloch slave trader or something and we could get away with it.
Yeah.
But nobody could have pretended I was an Arab.
No.
When I said I was sort of from Syria.
Right.
But when I went to the marshes, you see, I thought, well, I'm damned if I'm going to go on and put on marsh clothes here. It's silly. I mean, they're used to seeing Europeans in these clothes and so on. And therefore, for the first 2 years out in the marshes, I wore a pair of grey flannel trousers, a shirt and a coat.
Right.
And then Farley and the others said, why on earth do you go on wearing these clothes? You would be much more comfortable if you wore our clothes. And so then I didn't go for a turban and all that. I just wore the dish dasher. And but always when we were travelling, I had under the thwart, or what do we call it, a pair of trousers and a dirty shirt and that. And then if I wanted to go and see the local official or something in his office, and I wasn't going to walk in there wearing their clothes. And I put these on and went on like that.
Yeah.
Well, then you see, Gavin Maxwell, when you arrived, was absolutely determined from the start to wear what he called native dress. And I said, Gavin, you'll be absurd. Because, I mean, you can't speak any Arabic.
No.
You don't know how to wear it, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And he said, but you do. And I said, well, after the first 2 years, I didn't, for that very reason.
Right.
And now I do. And but I don't wear a turban, and I don't wear a bisht, a cloak and all that sort of thing. I mean, I just wear this for comfort. Then he went on moaning about how the mosquitoes had all eaten his legs. Well, they'd eat them just as much if you're wearing that as if you're wearing a pair of trousers which come down to there anyway.
Yes, yeah.
And finally one day when Mara and I had gone off with Sebastian, we came back to find him dressed, and he persuaded the sheikh to give him Arab clothes. And Amara just said to me, if he's going to look like that, we won't take him with us. Because he had no idea how to wear it, you see.
No.
And he sort of wearing it like a sort of kilt. And so this was rather ridiculous. And I said, Gavin, Amara says to you, if you go, they won't go with you. If you look like that, you don't know how to wear it.
Right.
And this caused a bit of a sort of
friction.
Well, there were these silly little things.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, that's not the sort of thing. You don't put it, well, I
No.
don't want to put it into a book. I mean,
No.
he was my travelling companion, and
Right.
there you are. You don't want to get every little thing like that into a book.
No, no. Yes, it's interesting how Lawrence van der Post does seem to dwell on these conflicts he has.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, Journey to the Interior, there's another one, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, there's another description
There
like
is.
that.
I'd
It's
rather
unusual.
Yeah.
He has this,
Which is certainly when I travelled with him, we travelled very amicably.
Yeah.
together.
yeah, yeah. Oh, have you ever read Robert Byron,
Yes.
Sykes' friend?
Yes, I've read his Roadblock.
What do you think of that?
It was a good book,
Yeah,
and I was amused when they sort of painted their faces and everything. No, that struck me. I mean, it's again, you see, it's modern. It's the difference between a sort of travellers in the old tradition when everything. This wasn't. I mean, this was travelling through there.
in a car or?
Yeah, well, and sort of, there's another book which is over there called Xanadu. Do you know?
No, I don't.
It's there, and it's man. What's his name? Xanadu. It's by a man called William Dalrymple.
Oh,
It's
never.
something to do with his. But,
You must.
I
get-
wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't have given it the praise which it's got on the outside. He travels with this woman whom he calls Laura or something,
Uh-huh.
and they decide to go together, and she's incredibly bossy and very unpleasant. But I don't know whether she's an imaginary figure or whether she really existed. But anyway, he doesn't give any details about her except that he was with her. She's always pushing him along. But the whole journey, you see, is alien to me because I mean the discomforts and all that. Sometimes the lack of food and everything. It's all caused by this bloody thing of travelling about in a sort of crowded buses going.
Right.
And I think when they were in Persia, they obviously were at some risk and everything.
Yeah.
But just because of the mode of travel and everything, it leaves me cold, as a lot of these modern travel books do.
Right. I mean, do you feel that you can be a good travel writer without being a good traveller? Do you think the two things are very different? Do you think, for instance, someone could produce a good travel book and themselves not really be an authentic traveller?
Yes. Well, again, it depends what he described his journeys and that sort of thing, and this man's done it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's simply that he is a traveller, and you've got to, this is the way to put it, I think, that he's a traveller in the modern sense of travelling.
Right.
Whereas
Well,
I'm
you
a
are
traveller in the tradition. All my travelling, by the grace of God, was done in the traditional method of travelling.
right, but you are also an explorer,
Yes.
which
Well,
is a different.
It doesn't any longer exist, does it?
There aren't any
No,
explorers
there's nothing.
nowadays.
Well, some of these journeys up to the North Pole, but even this last one has an element of a sort of stunt about it.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't compare it with Amundsen or
No.
Shackleton. And the greatest of all the travellers to me was Shackleton.
Shackleton.
I mean, I think that his that open boat and everything, and then getting across the Falklands, I mean, was the most remarkable thing,
Yeah.
heroic thing that anybody's ever done, and his power of leadership and everything. So that I would admire that probably without
Yeah.
having any wish to go into those coves.
No. Have you ever had any wish to go to the pole?
No, none.
Not at all.
No.
No.
If I had, I'd gone to the North Pole, where at least you have, or up the
Eskimos.
North Pole, you have Eskimos.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't have found penguins sufficiently sort of
No.
entertaining to talk to.
No.
So I think that there again, I think what the worst journey in the world by he was with Scott, but not on that last journey. Cheddar Keaton.
Don't know.
Well, now there you see, you've got the type of book which I regard as a great travel book.
Right.
I mean, rather than Byron or
Yeah.
these others, because then the opportunity for that sort of thing is gone.
What would you consider Lawrence's book?
Lawrence's Seven Pillars.
I think it's
Yes, it's travel and adventure and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got it all, and he's with a sort of people who are virtually untouched.
Right. So it is an authentic
yes.
travel book. Yeah. I was going to say that you are in some ways almost a legendary figure now, aren't you?
Well, that's sort of balls which... I mean, it's nice of him to say it, but...
Yeah. Well, I don't say it.
Attenborough and that sort of thing. They find it's a convenient thing to if they want to sell the book, they put it on the beginning.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Worthy to stand on a pedestal with and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily I don't take it seriously.
No. But, yes, I wondered how you did respond to that. I mean, they talk of you as the sort of the last great traveller and...
Well, I was the last of the travellers in the last past centuries tradition. I mean, that was the lucky thing.
Yeah.
And the other thing that was incredibly lucky was that I was just in time. You see, a year after I went to the Danakil country, and that was, I mean, the Danakil country was in some ways undoubtedly the most dangerous of it all.
Yeah.
And I was only 23 at the time.
I know.
And the next year, you see, the Italians invaded Ethiopia, and the place was swarming with Italian troops. So and then Tibesti, when I went there, no car had ever been to Tibesti. I'm not claiming this was exploration. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it had been mapped by the French, and there were French officers there and everything. But it was otherwise, our culture and everything was untouched.
Right.
And I mean, no car had ever been there, and only, what was his name? That one man who went, they were nearly killed in Baghdad. I can't remember his name. But there's only been one sort of, other than French officers there.
Right.
Therefore, but you see, 2 or 3 years later, there was the war. And the whole place was overrun by the LRDG and everything else.
Right.
And Leclerc with his mechanized forces going north. Sorry, Ben. Hello? No, he's not here. No, he won't.